This is a data set of anthropomorphic measurements. So what someone is doing is actually anthropometric data measurements. What someone was doing was looking at some people's mass, forearm length, bicep size, chest length, neck length, shoulder length, waist length, height length, calf length, thigh length and head length. Now in this case, I might be interested in asking the question, which of the body parts has more variability? Is there more variability in forearm length or bicep length or chest length? So in this case, I want to look at the box plots between each of the different variables to see how much scatter there are. Is something more variable or less variable than others? Now, if I take out mass, because that's measured in a different unit, that's measured in kilograms, but all the others, forearm length, bicep length, chest, neck, shoulder, waist, height, calf, thigh and head, all of those are going to be measured in centimetres or metres. Now, some of them are appreciably bigger than the others, so height and shoulder width. But if I look at the variability of forearm, bicep, neck, calf, thigh and head, they all are about the same sort of scale. So what I want to do is see, is there more variability or less variability in each of those variables. So in this case, I'm going to go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics and Explore. I'm going to put in all the variables that I'm interested in comparing to each other. So that was forearm, bicep, neck, calf, thigh and head. Now I just want to do the plots here. If I go to plots, instead of doing factor levels together, which we used before to separate heights into two different groups, in this case I'm going to have dependent variables together. So I put each of the different variables that I'm analysing together on the same chart. I don't want the stem and leaf or the histogram, though you should always do those to check for normality. Press continue and press OK. So now I can look at the variability of forearm length, bicep length, neck, calf, thigh and head. So the head's a bigger value, but it's got a much smaller interquartile range, and also it's much more symmetric than the others. So the others, bicep has the biggest amount of variation, but forearm and calf are very similar. Neck has a bit of a skew in one direction, and thigh has the biggest variation and the biggest number of outliers. But in general, forearm, bicep and calf are very closely related to each other. It's interesting, bicep and thigh have the bigger variability than forearm and calf. So these things correspond to each other if you think about the way the body's put together. So forearm corresponds to your calf, your bicep corresponds to your thigh.